parents of the king.
The great sages and ministers and the parents of the kings.
Cha, and, Tvam, you, Cha, also, Ye, who, Cha, also, Ime, these, Tulyakala, assembled at the same time, Chara, moving and not moving, Janma, birth, Mrityo, and death, Yata, just as, Paschat, after, Prat, before, Na, not, Evam, thus, Aduna, at present, Api, although, O king. Translation: O king, both you and us, your advisors, wives and ministers, as well as everything moving and not moving throughout the entire cosmos at this time, are in a temporary situation. Before our birth, this situation did not exist, and after our death, it will exist no longer. Therefore, our situation now is temporary, although it is not false. Purport: the Mayavadi philosophers say Brahma Satyam Yagam Nitya. Brahman, the living being, is factual, but his present bodily situation is false. According to the Vaishnava philosophy, however, the present situation is not false but temporary. It is like a dream. A dream does not exist before one falls asleep, nor does it continue after one awakens. The period for dreaming exists only between these two, and therefore it is false in the sense that it is impermanent. Similarly, the entire material creation, including our own creation and those of others, is impermanent. We do not lament for the situation in the dream before the dream takes place or after it is over. And so during a dream or during a dreamlike situation, one should not accept it as factual and lament about it. This is real knowledge. In the verse, Vayam Chetvam Chaye Che Me Tulya Kalas Charaha Janma Mrityo Yatha Paschat Pranayam Aduna Buddho. O king, both you and us, your advisors, wives and ministers, as well as everything moving and not moving throughout the entire cosmos at this time, are in a temporary situation. Before our birth, this situation did not exist, and after our death it will exist no longer. Therefore our situation now is temporary, although it is not false. Om Magyana Timran Dashana Kinandana Silakya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Buddha Namaha Mukham Karoti Vajanam Hangum Langaiti Kirim Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Namo Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Prestaya Buddhade Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nami Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Prachayani Vishesh Shunyavadi Pastyachari Tatayani Namo Vancha Kalpachalupyascha Kripasnubhyadevacha Patitanam Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaurabhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In one sense, we actually deal here with some quite subtle and different concepts. Of course, that the situation we're living in is temporary. It's not as subtle, it's obvious. Although, due to the influence of the illusory energy, we constantly snap into this wrong understanding that this world is temporary, no, it's eternal, which is something that we bring with us from our spiritual existence. We are spiritual beings, And so we naturally, I mean, you know, whenever we look around, we naturally assume it's eternal, because that is actually, that's a natural state. So we are in a quite unnatural state. And if we, when we are functioning somewhat unconsciously, then we, you know, immediately assume all this is eternal, and I think this is called, it's called Vaikuntha Brahma. Is that the name, the word? Vaikuntha, I think that's what he calls it. It's here the word Brahma, B-H.
A-H.
B-H-R-H-A-M-R, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So that word means, it's another word of name of, it's other word for illusion. So that is one illusion in this world. That is, we think this is Vaikuntha with all the qualities of Vaikuntha, and then we immediately, when we don't think, when we are unconscious, I mean, unconscious, not in coma, but like most of us are most of the time. Simply, we're living, but we're not conscious. Like animals are also conscious in seeing, but they don't reflect on what they see. They simply take, you know, everything at face value. That's what we, you know, being awake, but still sleeping, we take things as at face value, and we think actually this world is real, or whatever we see, this is reality. I think it's also called naive realism, which is something that, you know, children, I remember as a child, you know, I thought this was just, you know, I mean, completely, you know, whatever you saw, this was, you know, the world is like that. Of course, then at one point, one hopefully gets deeper realizations and understand actually existence is much more complex and so on. So, but still, that for anyone who reflects will realize that, oh, this is a temporary situation. So that's not such a, I mean, that's not subtle as such. It's in one sense really obvious. But of course, what is subtle is, you know, a little more subtle is to understand. So why do we think this is, you know, why do we have the feeling of it being eternal when it's temporary? And from there, actually, one can get a hint that actually we are eternal beings and there is an eternal world. But here, the real subtle thing is, what does it mean? What are the implications of this world, that this world is false? And because one can easily reach the wrong conclusion if one is not properly instructed and properly guided. That's always a danger. One cannot, I mean, we have to be all, you know, in practically in all understanding, we have to be properly instructed, properly guided, and otherwise immediately misunderstandings, even directly reading Shastra, but if it's not properly explained by realized souls, it will be easily misunderstood. I mean, we were just together, Prabhuji made, he gave a humorous example, and I mentioned that last night. There was one boy who had gotten the idea that he would live you know, that he had made the idea that he could go and live in a temple and just live in practically like a free hotel, and go to school, go to college, come back, live for free, you know, get food and prasad, and you know, and like that. It was in England, at the Bhakti and the Manor. So Prabhuji, he met this boy, and then spoke with him about, you know, why do you think you can just? He hadn't even asked, and he didn't really. And even Bhakti and Manor, it's even difficult to have hardly any guest rooms there. That's another thing. So, but how can you get this idea? That's in Prabhupada's books. And then goes, what do you mean in Prabhupada's books? And then the boy showed, actually look here, it says, once you take advantage of the Krishna consciousness movement, and so he was completely Shastra like that. And so that's the point, you know, even these points, one has to have it properly explained by someone who actually knows. So it's, and that means that's our, you know, the devotees who already are practicing, who are trained also by others who are practicing. It doesn't mean that one has to go to the other planet, or to the other side of the planet to find the great self-realized souls. No, we have to take instruction from those who are practicing. They are completely competent to guide us and, you know, explain to us what it actually means. It's actually the teachings of the Shastras and the Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada. It comes through us too, through the community of devotees, of sincerely practicing devotees. This is, you know, this is how we learn. So, anyhow, this point of what are the implications of that we are in a temporary situation also has to be understood properly. And Prabhupada, therefore, he refers to this Mayavadi idea that Brahma Satyam Jagam Mithya, which seemingly this is what the Narada Muni is also explaining here, that we are all in a temporary situation, and then the Mayavadis will say, yes, Brahman is truth and this world is false, Mithya, false. And at, you know, at face value again, that's completely, that is completely correct. And therefore we don't care about this world. You know, it doesn't matter what we do in this world, and, you know, what happens in this world. And, you know, we practically can do anything, or we can do nothing. It doesn't matter. But that's not, I mean, actually that's not the conclusion. This is actually demoniac. In the 16th chapter, what are one of the things that Krishna describes as demoniac is to think that, yeah,
that this world is unreal.
Yeah, precisely. And you know Sanskrit? No. I know Sanskrit, and I'm better than you. Satyam apatistamte jagadahu aniswaram aparas paras samputam kimman yatkama haitukam. The demons are thinking that this world is a satyam. They say that this world is unreal, has no foundation, it's aniswara, there's no God. Isvara means God, anisvara, there's no God in control. Everything is just a product of lust, and there's no purpose other than fulfilling lust. They say this one's real, there's no foundation, no God in control. They say it was produced by sex desire, and has no other purpose than lust. No other cause than lust. No other cause than lust. But here also, as I understand, the word cause can also be translated as purpose, fulfilled. I mean, because the demons will have to say, you know, would be asked, what is the purpose of the world? And they would say, to satisfy your lust, to engage in sense gratification. That is the demoniac conclusion. So, to think that this world is asat, unreal, is demoniac. So that's not the point. Conclusion is that when we understand this world is temporary, then Prabhupada points out, yes, it's temporary, it's real, it's not false, but again, it only exists temporarily. And the implication there is that, since this world emanates from Krishna, who is truth, then everything else also that emanates from the Supreme Truth is also true. We cannot say it's false. And it is real at this very moment, and we have to treat it as a real world because it is a real world. This is really where we, this is how we, how our devotional service or service to the Supreme Lord concretely takes form. That is that we act in this temporary situation, and is completely are involved in it, engaging it, or in Krishna service, or it's already engaged in Krishna service, but we take part in, we assist, we contribute our part to, as we are meant to render service in this particular situation. It's like, and the example is Prabhupada is the best example. He was very much involved in this world and seeing constantly opportunities for Krishna service and constantly arranging the material energy in a way which was pleasing to Krishna. That's how. This is actually the correct understanding of devotion. The devotional understanding. It is, this world is temporary but real, and in this temporary situation, which in one sense we don't have anything but temporary situations. That's a problem with the Mayavad philosophy. It's completely impractical, because if we should not act in this temporary situation, then what is left? Well, there's only the eternal conscious self, but that doesn't stand on its own. Conscious self is active, and how does it relate to the Supreme Brahman? Well, it has to act in the present, because it's all we have. We only have the present. We don't have anything else. In one sense, it's the only thing that is real. That's the present. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. Only the present exists. So it's all we have. And therefore, one actually has to be completely in the present. That's also one instruction by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is how progress is made. Do you know this verse? By Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where it talks about being in the present when you chant the holy name. How is it? Forget the past that sleeps, and of the future do not dream. Not exactly. But act in the time that is with thee, and progress you should call. Have you heard that verse? No? Okay. You know the verse?
Yeah.
You heard that? It's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a beautiful English song, long poem. This is one of the verses from there. So it actually says that don't dream about the future, and don't live in the past, but simply act in the time that is with thee. That means the present, and progress you should call. This is actually the secret for advancement, for progress. It's even true for if you want to progress materially, which of course is not possible, but still, if for materialists, those who actually progressing, they're acting in the present. They're not dreaming about the future. They're not lamenting about the past. That's for example, Vaishyas are epitomes of those who are advancing materially. And a good Vaishya, he's very much in the present. He is you can tell the difference between a Vaishya and a Sudra. a Sudra will sit and either dream about how in the future he will be wealthy, or he will lament about how he is not wealthy and how he's, and how it's so unfair how he's being treated, and nobody has done anything for, nobody's doing anything for him, nobody is, you sit and you lament about the situation. It's it's such a it's so bad. It's such a it's a crisis, and it's no. That's a Sudra, but a Vaishya, he is not. What you don't make money by sitting and lamenting. It's not, and also dreaming. It doesn't make money. You have to be in the present. So while the Sudra is sitting there lamenting that it's not possible, the Vaishya is simply there. He's acting. He's simply busy acting, and therefore, a good Vaishya, he makes money in any situation. He makes money when it's good times. He makes money when it's bad times. He makes more money when he has lots of money. When he goes bankrupt, he makes money on that also. He makes money on anything. That's a good Vaishya. Because he is there in the actually he's right here and now. And of course we're not interested in material progress, but this is we have to be acting in the present. This is what we have. Although it is temporary, the present is already past. I mean, if you can really, when you start thinking about it, you become, I don't know, almost crazy about what is the present, because the present, like I said, is already past like that. But the thing is, one nevertheless has to be here at every moment in the present, acting like that. Then there will be progress. Now, of course, that can also be misunderstood. We have also some complete sense enjoyers like that who say, no, I don't, I just live in the present, and I don't, and what does that mean? Well, that actually means animal life. Animals are also in the present. They have and they're simply, like a dog in the present. You look at him, there's a smell and he goes this direction, then halfway there's another smell, then he goes in that direction, then he goes there, and there's something that, he's very much in the present, but he has no goal for the future, nor does he carry the experience from the past with him. Because, actually, the future and past are, it's also part of reality. We're not in them, but they're there. So, future is that one has goals for the future, and one is working towards that in the present, towards particular goals. And the past is dead and gone, but we did learn something. At least we're supposed to have had some experiences from the past. We learned something. We shouldn't repeat the mistakes we did in the past. And like that. So it's not that. So that's, yes, we have to be present in the present. But we do not live for the present, actually. We live for goals. We live for satisfying Krishna, but we have goals for the future. Just like if one goes to the kitchen, it's you cannot just be only in the present. You have to be also have a goal for the future. There has to be, there is a menu. That's a goal. It has to be, the best for offering, and so on. There's a clear goal. There has to be the right amount. If you're cooking just for a little group of people, or you're cooking for a big Sunday feast, there's different goals. So that's not present. That's in the future. One is working for that. But then in the present, you have to be, you have the goal, and then you're acting in the present towards the goal. That's human existence. This idea we don't care about the future. We just here now. The sun is shining, And so let us sit down here and drink a beer and smoke a joint and be here in the present and be with friends and like that. Be in the present. Animal life. And it leads to animal life. So one has to understand things correctly. The world is real but temporary. We have to act here, so we have to act in the world. Treat it as a real world because it is a real world, and but also not lamenting. The point is here of this that the world is temporary. It's not that we don't act in the world and we're not responsible in the world, but the point is do not lament. This is an instruction to Maharaj Chitraketu. Don't lament. It's when the son was there, and you were the father. That was a temporary situation. So that time you were acting, right, like a responsible father, taking care of your son as a father should do. But that's the past. You're not the father anymore. The son is gone. Now you should not lament. Now it's a new situation. That's actually that's the instruction. Krishna gives the same instruction to Arjuna, Asoja and Asoja, Stram Prakyavadam Stabasha. Say, don't lament. Gatasana Gatasana Nano So Chanti Pandita. Those who are actually learned do not lament. It doesn't mean they don't act. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you act in this, you fight this battle, you fight against your family, and you don't lament. So it's a clear instruction in the Bhagavad Gita. And this is what is being instructed here to Maharaj Chitraketu. Lamentation is useless. It's generally a useless feeling, and one should learn how to. And even if one feels lamentation, that's another one. At least one's service should not be affected by that. One goes on with one's service, even though one may be, sometimes we do get affected or somehow, but one goes on with one's service, or actually, ideally it should simply increase. All situations should be things that increase. Lamentation, in one sense, is also a real thing. That's also not false, but the real art of life is actually to use all, even emotions. That's also another point that one has to understand, that also we're not saying emotions are false. They also mean so lamentation is also a real thing. But the real art of life, or trick of life, is to utilize even emotions to increase one's service to Krishna. Because emotions are very powerful. Actually, the whole thing is, you can take another perspective, everything is simply driven by emotions. Emotions is what is driving us, and emotions are extremely powerful. One can, with the right, in the right emotions, one has so much energy, and other emotions can completely just paralyze one. So the trick is to use the energy of the emotions to increase one's service for Krishna. Does that make sense?